All right, here we go. 24.1. Just to start off with, special thanks to my judge. I did this 5:30 in the morning, so she got up nice and early just to judge me, so I really appreciate that. Strategy for me for this one is probably not something that I recommend, but for me it was just pacing. My fitness and strength is not where I have been in the past due to injuries, so for me it was take the dumbbell snatches, which I felt that they felt heavy, but just be consistent, making sure nice clean reps, and then with the burpees, just be super consistent, same movement patterns the whole way through, which I felt I did fairly well with. You'll see during the 15s where I really start to take a few pauses on the ground there. Obviously this workout is very gassy, even though I did feel a little bit of muscular fatigue on the dumbbell snatches. It was predominantly just cardiovascular, so my fitness not being where it has been in the past, struggled with this one, but quite content with where I got up to in the end. So you'll see with my burpees, stepping back and stepping up from into that burpee. Again, that was a very deliberate decision, just to slow the movement down, just so I can keep my heart rate a little bit lower, therefore I can keep moving throughout the workout. So I tried to be deliberate as possible through the burpees. Again, you'll see in the later rounds it sort of breaks down a little bit, but for the most part my burpees pretty much look the same the whole way through. Again, for someone that is of a higher fitness level, who's trying to get the best time, you definitely want to push on those burpees. The other thing I tried to be consistent with was to stay over the dumbbell. So whether it was transitions from the burpees back to the dumbbell snatch, it was just staying over the top of the burpees. So managed to do that, so I was quite happy with that also. Again, with the dumbbell snatch, for someone who is a little bit stronger, with more endurance, definitely want to try and sort of move the dumbbell nice and fast. I was having a slight pause at the top again. Both strategies were designed to just keep the heart rate a little bit lower, a little bit more under control. For me personally, that's just where I'm at the moment. So, but for someone who's a little bit stronger, I can definitely move that dumbbell a lot faster as well. So going into the second set of 21s here, again, my focus here, first and foremost, was just keep moving, and then keep the movement pattern the same. This hit a little bit harder and a little bit earlier than I was expecting. I was expecting, like most 21-15-9 workouts, for the set of 15s where you start to feel pretty ordinary, but it was this second set of 21 burpees that sort of hit me. A little bit slower than I would have liked on the burpees. However, like I mentioned, I stuck to my game plan of just moving consistently and keeping the movement the same. So happy in that sense. Can't complain with how I executed. Overall, was quite happy. There's a few spots where I had to have a chat to myself to keep moving and sort of to pick up the dumbbell before I wanted to, but overall quite happy with the way that I executed it. But yeah, so happy with that. But yeah, this second set 21s were a little bit tougher than I was expecting, but managed to get through them. I did the both sets of 21 dumbbell snatch unbroken. Going into the set of 15, I was just going to see how I was feeling, to whether I was going to break them up or not. Plan A was obviously to do them, not obviously, but to do them unbroken. Plan B was to do 2 sets, so a set of 8 and a set of 7. So here, again, with the rest, I tried to keep myself over the dumbbell, and this is where the first point where I was sort of chatting to myself, just, pick up that dumbbell, keep moving, keep those reps ticking over. And this is where you really start to notice, so the heels are coming off, really driving through the hips. Here it just felt heavy, just muscular fatigue. I haven't done a lot of dumbbell work at this weight leading up to it, just due to me trying to manage my injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, so just hadn't done the volume. So overall, for where I'm at, happy with how it went. But yeah, it really starts to struggle here, really driving with those hips to move that dumbbell. So a lot of effort, meaning that the heart rate's going to be higher than I would like. But yeah, broke that set of 15 up into 2 sets, set of 8 and then a set of 7. So again, with the burpees, same, definitely a little bit slower though. And I think on a few of these I really take a couple breaths whilst laying on the ground. Not ideal, but just what I felt I had to do, whether I actually needed to do it or not, but at the time felt like I needed to. But at this point, again, my focus was the same, was just keep those reps ticking over. So there's that pause I was talking about, and just keep the movement the same. So the other tip for the burpee is to make sure you stay nice and close to the dumbbell on both sides, and also making sure that you clear the dumbbell. You don't want to be hitting the dumbbell and getting a no rep. So from the few videos that I have seen, I had noticed that a couple people doing it on probably their dominant side, they would jump a little bit too far over and be further away from the dumbbell. So they got to take sort of like a half a step back towards the dumbbell before they jump over. So I tried to stay nice and close. I was using the line on the ground there just as a guide to where to keep my hands, which helped keep the burpees pretty much the same. So again, this is probably my second longest rest period so far. Again, just talking to myself, trying to make sure that I was going to pick it up before I wanted to. And I definitely didn't want to pick it up anytime soon, but picked it up before I wanted to. So this is the second set of 15. Still going with the 2 sets of 7 and 8. So again, really struggling on this side, really driving with those hips. Take a knee, which is never ideal. You're in trouble when you drop to your knee, and I knew that. So a lot of self-talk. Stand up first. Didn't want to stand up. There we go. And then this is probably the furthest I moved away from the dumbbell. the whole time, so normally I tend to walk a little bit, so just trying to keep those transition times nice and low. When you first look at this workout, you're like, oh, no transition time, but when you're actually in it, and when you struggling as much as I did, those transition times tend to blow out a little bit. So that was one of my focuses, as I mentioned, standing over the dumbbell to keep those transition times. But another long rest on the ground there. But still, the burpees are looking pretty much the same, just obviously a lot slower, a few more pauses. Quite a few pauses on the ground there. But again, for someone that is of a higher fitness level, these burpees, you definitely want to be pushing the pace a little bit more. Now, don't get me wrong, I was pushing myself. Like I mentioned, I was telling myself to get up and move before I really wanted to. So even though I'm going slower, just with my fitness level at the moment is where it's at, I was still pushing myself quite hard. This is the highest intense workout I've done in some time. So again, ticks all around. In regards to injury, there was no pain or discomfort through the lower back, which is always a good sign. The next test is how I recover. Obviously a lot of hinging in this movement, 180 reps of hinging basically. You notice on the in the early rounds at least, I wasn't fully extending over the dumbbell with the burpees. That is a good strategy to help you move faster as well. I wasn't too worried about doing that because I was trying to manage my heart rate and slow the burpees down. Going into the workout, I was fairly confident that I wasn't going to finish, but I was quite surprised with how I was going up until the very end. I was surprised with what score I actually got. Wasn't happy, but I was surprised with what I got. Have contemplating doing it again, but again, it just depends on my recovery. So going into the set of 9s, I believe I broke the set of 9s up, which is not ideal. I definitely didn't want to break up that set of 9. And on top of breaking it up, definitely rested too long on that set, which you'll see at the end. I could have definitely saved some time on that last one. Going into this set of 9, my mindset was, I know I have to push, but I don't want to get to the point where I push too early and just sort of just end up staring at the dumbbell. So I wasn't ready to push just yet. But again, for someone who is of a higher fitness level and strength, you definitely want to try and push through these 9s to get that faster time. So once I finish this set of burpees here, this is sort of where I'd say to myself, okay, you got to push now. I did look at the clock at some point. I think when I do finish this last set, I was a little bit disheartened to see how much time I had left after these set of 9s. But once I look at the clock, I'm like, yeah, okay, go time. Again, too much rest for someone that was looking to finish the workout, even though I knew I wasn't going to. Obviously my goal was to finish it, but see, I was moving the dumbbell a lot faster on this one. Did this set unbroken and then into the burpees. But yeah, dumbbell felt heavy today. Combination of not training enough with the dumbbell and doing it at 5:30 in the morning. But overall, quite happy with how I went. Until next one.